right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. My name is Ronnie Ryder. I'm on the board. I have 1 year left and I'm gonna be I don't know what it's called. The MC,
Moderator.
The moderator. I'll just kind of go through real quick how we're gonna do this today. We're gonna start off with each of the candidates giving a 5-minute overview. And we're gonna do that in alphabetical order. So Dave Doan will start first. Dave's not here, but he'll have a video that we'll see. How's he doing? And then that'll be followed by Jeff Hughes, Megan Kohler, and Debbie Smith. After they each do their 5 minutes, we'll open it up for questions. If you have a specific question for a candidate, go ahead and call them out. But all the candidates will be able to respond to that question, and I'll try to rotate it around if it's not to a specific candidate, so that different candidates will answer first. They'll have 1 minute. We've got flaggers in the back for you guys. They'll start waving their arms when you've got 15 seconds left. And then if you go past that, we'll activate the shot callers. You guys will stop. Yeah, and so make sure your questions are specifically, to a candidate. We're not here really to, solve board issues or anything like that. And it should be a productive night. So first of all, thanks everybody for coming, for caring, for, being part of the club. It's you guys that make this the great club that it is, and we're excited to see so many people here. All right, so we're gonna start with Dave Doan. He was unable to attend, but he put together a video, and we'll just go down the line from there. Ready? Yep.
Hello everybody, my name is David Doan. I am a board candidate for 2025. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in the Washington, D.C. area on the Virginia side. I started playing golf when I was about 10 years old with my two grandfathers. They were both members at Army Navy Country Club, and it afforded me the unique opportunity to grow up playing with both of those gentlemen. My father's father passed away when he was 87 years old, so we had roughly 25 years, 30 years of golf together. My mother's father passed away about a month ago at 100 years old. So my mother's father and I, we got a considerable amount of golf in together. Needless to say, golf runs deep in my veins. It's been a big part of my life. Those two gentlemen were two of my closest friends. As a matter of fact, my father's dad at one point in time referred to me as his best friend, which is a really special statement. And it wouldn't have been that way if it wasn't for golf. So I share that with you all today just to give you some sense of what golf means to me. In high school, I worked at Westwood Country Club in Vienna, Virginia. I was the first caddy hired to work at Robert Trent Jones in Gainesville, Virginia, of course, where they've hosted the President's Cup, Solheim Cup last year, and a couple of other major events. I also worked at Fairfax Country Club, and have been golfing casually ever since. And I moved to Bend in 2019 from Denver, Colorado. I joined Bend Golf Club in June of 2023, and both of those decisions have been some of the best decisions in my life. Bend Golf Club is an incredibly special place. I am recording this here on the Pine Cone, a place that I spend quite a bit of time, not only because it's an amazing facility to hone your skills, it also happens to be right across the street from, or right across the way from where I live. I live over in Timber Ridge, so I do also think from a candidate perspective, my proximity to this golf course gives me kind of a unique vantage point of the golf course. I'm here just about every day, for better or for worse, for my career. That is the truth. I'm either using the practice facility or I'm using the other amenities at the club, mostly the gym and the restaurant. And this place has certainly improved my life, not only from a social perspective, but from a golfing perspective. Uh, Thankfully, I continue to improve my golf game. And I think one of the things about this club that makes it unique is the membership, the culture here, the people that I'm surrounded with on a daily basis are also striving for the same thing. And it just creates a really unique environment for golfers to become better golfers. So I think everybody can witness in my statement that I put out, the written statement, that the golf course is and would be my priority if I was elected to the board. I'll continue to maintain this position. I think it is one of the best golf courses I've ever played, and I've had the privilege of playing hundreds of golf courses all around the country. So it's darn near perfect, but certainly always room for improvement. And it would truly be a privilege to work with folks like Moff and Monty and Josh and Bevan and you know, the rest of the wonderful staff who care so much about this place to make it even better. And I do think, despite how amazing it is we can improve upon it. In conjunction with that, the practice facilities, I think we need some work there. You know, I've had an opportunity to talk to a lot of members here, and I get the same sentiment from a number of folks. I've also had the privilege of being introduced to other people who've grown golf courses like this, and I think one of the key strategies in successfully growing a golf course is to focus on the practice facilities. There's a certain demographic at all clubs that spend an extraordinary amount of time focused on improving their game, especially as we think to attract, you know, younger generation members to the course. I think having a practice facility that is commensurate with the course is critical to maintaining the level of membership that we need here to remain financially stable and to just grow the allure of Bend Golf Club and make it one of, if not the premier golfing experience and facility in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, the last thing that clearly, you know, there are other aspects to being a board member and other decisions that will have to be weighed in upon other than just the golf course and the practice facility. Those are certainly not lost on me. Like I said, I use their other facilities on a very daily basis, and I understand how important keeping those relevant and updated and fresh and new are to gaining new members. So I certainly commit to putting in the time, the effort, the resource, speaking with members about what is important to them in order to maintain those other aspects of the facility as well. So hopefully this gives you a bit of a sense of who I am and why I'm running for the board. Thank you for your time. Sorry I wasn't able to be there in person. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out. Happy to have a chat, but I certainly would appreciate all of your votes, and thank you.
There was one assumption I made and I didn't go through, but the 5 questions that each of the candidates were asked to answer, I'm glad to review those if you want me to, but those are the ones that were on the site. You saw all the different answers. So are we good with me not going through those, or? Okay. All right, then we're going to go in alphabetical order. We'll start with Jeff Hughes. Whenever you're more comfortable. Sit.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Hughes, and I'm running for the board for 2025. For those of you that don't know me, I moved up to Bend in 2017 with my wife Susan. I had been here previously on a couple of golf trips with my law partner from California before I moved up here. And I played this course both times along with Broken Top, Aubrey, Tetherow, Black Butte, and Versada Ranch. And by far, this course was head and shoulders above all of those courses. I've been here, since being here in 2017, I've really enjoyed my time here. And this is a really special place, and I really enjoy playing golf here. Before we moved up here, I was a law partner in a personal injury office in Orange County, California. I've been practicing law since 1990. When I first started practicing law, I was an associate with a firm in Long Beach, and I thought to myself, I never want to take on any responsibility of being a partner or anything that has to do with making decisions. I was perfectly content, being 25 years old, making, decent money for what I was doing, and had no desire to get involved with the stresses and strains that go along with being involved in management. Then I switched and went to another firm and was being used as what felt like being a pawn, where I was working for a partner that took all the glorified work that didn't require a whole lot of effort. Who, of course, he's a partner and I was an associate, and I was given the task of billing 200 hours a month, which meant I had to spend an inordinate amount of time doing stuff that was really, to me, irrelevant. And at that point, I decided, you know what, I think I need to go off and do something else. And when I first started doing personal injury work, I was working for an attorney who was probably the most shady person I think I've ever met. And after working with him for about 6 months, I decided it was time for me to move on from that. And I ended up partnering up with a guy who was an opponent of mine on another case. And we met with this attorney that I was working for. And it was September 15th when we met with him for lunch. And my partner and I at that point said, well, by January 1st, we'll be ready to start off. And the attorney looked at me and he said, I'll give you till October 1st. So we had 16 days to put together a law firm, get telephone lines, get a business license, get stationery and all that stuff in 15 minutes and 15 days. And within a couple of months, we were up and operating, making money, and never missed a paycheck. So I know there are things that can be done if you put your mind to it and put the effort to do it. I think that working together with other people makes it a lot easier than doing it on your own. And that's why I think that from being here and the level of people that I've dealt with since I've been here, both young and old, I think I've played golf with probably most of you that are in here, and those that I haven't. We'll get together and do that at some point. But I really do appreciate being here, and I think my wife also appreciates being here, and she probably plays more golf out here than I do. So I look forward to the possibility of being on the board here. Thank you.
I can stand, that's fine. I'm Megan Kohler. It's nice to see you all here tonight. I'll start a little bit in reverse, tell you a little bit about my career, and then I'll tell you about golf and my family. I am the vice president and business unit general manager at a global law company. There's a theme here, Debbie out there in law too. But I started with this company some time ago and have grown the company from less than $1 million of revenue to 30 million in revenue. And also, I think growing the company is one element of success, but we went from being unprofitable to having 75% margins in a pretty short period of time. So I think that speaks to the capabilities of managing time, resources, a budget, making good decisions that will allow for long-term viability of a business. And that help to support the growth of the people within it. And so translating that to a club, I think is really meaningful. In the sense that this is also a business, right? We have a wonderful operation here that we have the privilege of maintaining and improving upon. Attracting new membership, ensuring that our membership is served well and such. Additionally, I have grown the team to be a global team. We started as a US operation, and now the business unit that I run has 250 global associates from here to India. So it's a wonderful operation that represents a diversity of cultures and thought processes. And I think that's also representative of our group here in the sense that we all come from different backgrounds. We have different ideas. We have, different interests. We have, a lot of opinions, right? And I think that's a wonderful thing, and being able to blend those together to have a successful and viable, club is really meaningful. So taking a step back a second, I have a degree in international business from Pepperdine University. And I share that because that is where I first was on a board. I was on the board for the Volunteer Center, which was actually a really integral part of our community at Pepperdine, where a lot of ideas came to fruition, and they allowed us to help serve the community in a meaningful way. So I think that's a really good representation of experience from a board perspective, where we were, responsible for not only serving the community, but also for budgets and for ideation around what could be viable in this established university. So taking another step forward, my husband is John Kohler. We met in Portland and got married there, and then a few years later moved here to Bend. So we've been here since 2015, and we joined the club very quickly thereafter. In 2016, he and I became a golfer in the family. And so I quickly realized that I needed to pick up this game of golf in order to spend more time with said husband. So I started, practicing a little bit, getting really frustrated, and then learning a little bit, and then having aha moments about, oh my goodness, this is actually a really fun game. Fast forward a couple of years, and our son Hank was born. He's now 5. And he has fallen in love with this game as well. He was swinging a club before he could walk. So golf is truly a part of his DNA, and I've adopted it as my own as well. And, over the years, this has become a place where I enjoy being here. I enjoy being around this community. I enjoy the game of golf. And now it's not just with my family, but it's also with my community here at Bend Golf Club. So I'm invested in this place in a very meaningful way. I would love to use my skills and my experience to support this community and help to maintain its wonderful reputation and attract new members and serve the membership that is here today.
Debbie Smith. I'm currently on the board and enjoying it so much that I decided I needed to run again. Oh, the sunshine. Let's see, Craig was transferred here in 1984, and we joined the club in 85. And I spent the first 7 years working for the Powerhouse. And then I got into dentistry, and I have 22 years of working as an office manager or else managing a nonprofit dental clinic, which is what I ended my career with. 7 years of that. So I'm pretty good at finding ways to beg, borrow, and steal when it comes to a nonprofit to get kids taken care of for dental treatment. So I luckily knew the dental industry in town, and I had a lot of dentists that were willing to help us when we needed help. let's see, I started playing golf after I realized 2 years into a marriage that I'd never sleep great on the weekends unless I learned to golf. So, we had a couple of good pros that really took me under their wing and gave me a lot of attention when I needed it with my golf swing. And so I love competitive golf. I love golfing. And someone asked me the other day, she says, do you do anything else other than golf? And I said, well, yeah, sort of. She goes, do you ever get anything done? And I'm like, no, basically. There's a lot of things in my yard that could use some help, but, let's see, I want to be on the board just because there's a lot of projects we've been working on and I'd like to see that through, especially with the DECA thing that's going on in regards to possible changes to the clubhouse. And, that presentation hasn't been formally proposed to anyone yet, but I know that it's coming. And I, of course, love this golf course, so, there isn't a whole lot that I wouldn't do to make sure it stays as good as it is and improving it if we need to. The sprinkler system is always the one thing I worry about next, because that's the oldest thing besides this building. So anyway, I would love to be on the board again.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is, if you have a question, please use the mic, because we have a Zoom meeting, and they need to be able to understand the question, so. When you get the mic, state your name and how long you've been a member of the club. And again, if you have a specific question for a candidate, go ahead and do that, or if you have a general question, but we're gonna let all the candidates that are up there answer all the questions, and they'll have a minute to respond. All right, who wants to start? Eric?
Does this work?
Yeah.
They say that people join the, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, boss. They say that I'm Eric Wiseman. We joined in 18. So this is actually my 7th year here. They say that you join the club because of the facilities, golf and everything else, but stay because of the people and the culture and the environment. What's your reaction to that, Jeff?
I would agree with that wholeheartedly. If you take a look around you, you see a lot of members that may come from other clubs, but you very rarely see membership leave here to go somewhere else. And I think that's due to the fantastic golf facility we have here and the membership. I remember when I first came up here and I was playing, I played at a golf club in Orange County, which there's 2 new members from last year that had moved up to Bend, and we were all at the same club. And they have indicated that they love here better than anything else. So it's just a situation for me where I think that it is a situation where the membership here is long lasting, and you see people here that just don't leave. Just because it's that good of a place.
I think that because of all the things we have going on year round, a lot of people, once they get here, you do have a group of people that you enjoy spending time with. I think that it really makes you want to stay. And for me personally, it's always the ability to walk the golf course. That's one of the main attractors. And then we do have all the other stuff that we can enjoy. And we always have something new as far as bringing in different events. And I just think that keeps everyone's interest.
I'll move back to the sun seat once the sun is up. I agree as well. I mean, I think there's an element of when you are an attractive place, when you are a place that attracts, the community, the people that want to golf, you kind of have the best opportunity to retain the best people, the people that want the same things, right? That want a fantastic golf course, that want, to focus on investing in that and have that be the primary, anchor of the club. And I think that tends to be true in businesses, right? When you have a successful business and you attract this talent and this talent wants to, stay because of the people, not because of necessarily the work that they're doing, right? And I think that's true in this situation as well.
Next question. Come on.
I got one, thanks.
I think we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge Debbie and the celebration committee. And so yes, it was fantastic celebrating this club. So for each of you personally, what was your favorite
Can you
thing
state
that-
your name and how long you've been?
I'm sorry, Beth Whitney. Steve and I joined this club in 2019, the year before the COVID shutdown. Woohoo! What was your favorite item celebrating 100 years of this club?
I'm so glad that you acknowledged that this was such a fun year celebrating our club and, its centennial year. There were so many fun events planned and I think that got a lot of people really involved. Personally, the thing that I invested the most of my time into was the member guest tournament, and it was very thematic towards the centennial celebration of our club as well. And it's fun to show that off to guests. It's fun to bring our guests here and say, isn't this great? And they love it as well. So for me, that was my favorite.
Ron and Jess, I don't think you'll have to put it up for me on a minute on this one because I wasn't around the week when the centennial celebration went around, so I didn't partake in any of the activities for that. So unfortunately, I can't respond to what my favorite part of that was. Although I will say, I think it's very cool, the time capsule that was put out there behind 18. I think that's really nice, and I think that will be something that I won't be here to see when they open it, but I think that'll be great for some of the current membership and their kids to see that when that time comes.
I thoroughly enjoyed the celebration in January. I know that we didn't have, the decorations and such for the event in July. But, the thing in July that we really wanted to celebrate was just the whole club in general and making sure that we touched every part of the club because we so much appreciated everything that everyone has ever contributed. But the hickory stick and the glow ball, those were absolutely amazing.
Okay, next question.
Yes, yeah. Mark Sellinger, my wife and I joined the club in 2020 and are very happy we did. Golf is so important at Bend Golf Club. What do you see beyond golf here? There's so much to offer, so many people involved, and we're gonna have to deal with that as we go forward. There's so much that we have that is very important to many members. So what do you think about that?
Okay, Debbie, you start.
Sometimes I look at the people who come here and spend, that are just social members, that are in there playing cards, that, they keep coming back because they enjoy the location, they enjoy the food, the people. But also as you're starting, I think a lot of the activities that we keep bringing back for people to participate in that are not anything to do with golf or, the athletic area. it helps to get, keep everyone's interest, and that's why it's important, I think, for everyone to give ideas on things that they think would be fun to try. Because I think that the only way we can grow it and spend more time together socially is if we have that as a way of giving back, getting everybody involved. So.
And Megan?
I often see people playing games and, you know, participating in, things within just this portion of the clubhouse. But also in the athletic areas and, really enjoying the facilities that we have there. I think it's an important exercise to balance, what it is that we're investing in. But I think that with that balance can be a diversification of solutions. I think there can be, you know, investment or committees that are interested in volunteering their time to come up with these ideas and create activities for people, especially in the off season, but all throughout the year, that are interested in continuing to maintain their community here at the golf club.
I think that, when you're talking about issues that are non-golf issues, I think that we need to have a lot of input from the membership in terms of things that they would like, because I think that the ideas that we need to implement would be based upon the needs of what the membership has. As a board, there's 9 of us, and we're making decisions on behalf of all of you, and I think we need to get involvement and ideas and suggestions from you as to things that need to be done to make this a more enjoyable place, aside from just the golf course.
Patty?
Thank you. Patty Wiseman, I'm Eric's wife, and we've been members since 2018, and I'm the president of the board. So I have a question for you all. It's kind of 2-part. One is, we have many members who are athletic members, they are tennis court members, and they're social members. And I want to understand, as important as our golf course is, and it is our core, but how on the board do you think you go about representing membership who have no voice? They don't get to vote, etc. Also, what committees have you participated in, and how do you see that playing out in terms of my first part of the question? Who do you want to start?
We're starting with John.
I will answer the second question first. I was on the nomination committee 2 years ago, with Rob Moore, and I'm drawing a blank on who the other person was that was with us, but I see Rob, so that's why it came to mind. In terms of the representation of those who don't have a voice, I think that that's a situation where, as a board member, there needs to be some sort of communication, so we serve as a liaison to pass those ideas of theirs on to the GM, and make suggestions amongst the board members to figure out ways to do things that would accommodate or help expand on what we already have in those areas.
Second question was
Committees.
maybe.
Yes.
Let's see, so. We, I think with the athletic committee and the other committees, a lot of times the ideas are taken to them, and they are the voices that then bring it to the board. That's how we usually have worked it, to my knowledge at this point. And I think that if anyone actually ever gives me any ideas about things that they think would be better, either I suggest it to that committee or ask them if they would be willing to sit down and talk to someone from that committee, because I think that's the only way sometimes to get their view of what they want across, is if they actually have a chance to sit down and talk with them. So that's usually what I suggest. I have been on the board or have been at the board for on the club for so long. I'm trying to think of I've been on the LGA board and the Ladies Invitational, in charge of that a number of years off and on. And I think, and then OWJ and team and a lot of different things.
I'm presently on the golf committee, and have really enjoyed, serving there. Of course, that doesn't represent the, athletic members. But it has, it's opened my eyes a lot to how the business side of this organization operates. And some of the topics that people are interested in. I think that is likely representative of a lot of other subcommittee, other committees, other groups within the organization. And because there is an athletic committee, I think that's one venue. As you were saying, Debbie, I think there's an opportunity there for that to be the voice of that group and encouraging those that have athletic memberships to communicate with their community as their representative, so that that can be, their ideas and their interests can be represented at the board level.
Thank you.
Next question. Patty broke the seal, so I'm gonna ask a question too. So you have now unlimited power, and from each of you, I'd like to know two things that you would at all costs like to keep going on at the club, and two things you'd like to change right away. That's tough.
That righty?
There's no wrong or right answer.
I mean, broad strokes, the things that I'd like to keep are the, course and the staff. I think those things are at the heart of this golf club, our golf course, and our staff that, executes on our mission, our strategy, and service, and I think we have a fantastic staff here. Things that I'd like to change, gosh. I mean, there are a couple bunkers I'd like to see. Maybe a couple of routes. I don't know. I'm a pretty big fan of this club.
There's not a whole lot of things that I would change. And I know that sounds like a safe answer, but I don't, without knowing some of the things that are the problems that are addressed by membership, I don't know how to answer that question. My personal, I don't have anything that I'd like to change. Because of what I do when I'm here, I don't have any complaints about anything. I think that the staff here, the golf course are exceptional, so I don't see anything that needs to be changed in that regard. Things that I would say you absolutely could not change. There's a lot of things that I would say you can't change about this, and I don't think, raise your hand on 9 minutes up, right? So I'm done now, thank you.
Are you a lawyer? No.
So let's see, today I actually rode in a cart, so the only thing I can say that I would change would be the cart paths. But we all know that that's something we're working towards. And I wouldn't change the golf course, but I have been through a lot of different things that have changed on it, and I still love it every single time, so even the bunkers. And I love this place, so there's not a whole lot of stuff that I can say that I don't like, and other than the cart paths.
Next question. Come on. Yes.
I got
I'm Nancy Eldridge, and Ron and I have been members since 2005. So we are enjoying the fact that we are now honored members. You mentioned practice facilities. And I'm really proud of the cone when I see those kids running around out there. That is huge. That's
and so much fun to watch. The use of the cone, way back when, it was a long practice hole. So you could go out and hit from various distances, and you weren't hitting uphill like you are on the driving range. You as potential board members, do you see any need for additional practice facilities, and what would that be?
Well, I think that, it would be nice to have more practice facilities, and I know that at some point, there's always been conversation of doing stuff out between like 17 and 9 maybe as a possibility. But I think right now, I think there's too many other things that are priority. But that would be something that the, one of the committees would probably bring forward if they felt it was something everyone, I know that a lot of people are interested in that. But, I think there's other priorities at this point still. And then we always have to have a wish list, though. Those are nice.
I think that the cone as it is right now is fantastic. When I first came up here and it was just a practice hole, you could go out there, but the problem would be is if you were out there, you took up the cone all by yourself. And now that they have the individual holes, now it allows more people to be out there at the same time. I think that if, one of the things I know that's been discussed is a potential par 3 course within the course, I think that would be really good if it was cost prohibitive. But I think that would be another good practice facility if we were to go that route.
I think it's an interesting question because I think there are lots of different views on what practice facilities could look like. And I think that the way that I would approach it is to understand more about what the membership desires around practice facilities. I think different people have different strengths and in their game and different weaknesses, and so different people want to practice in different ways. And so I would want to seek that input from membership first before trying to solve the problem.
Next question. They don't want me to give them another question, so next question.
I'll ask a question. Ray asked my question already. That was gonna be my question. Things you love and things you might want to have changed. By the way, my name is Brad Patrick, member of the club since 2007. The only thing that I would say that might have been a little controversial this year as a decision that the board made was private cart usage and charges, and the club charging for private cart usage. So if this were to be brought back to the board this year, this upcoming year, what would your feeling be about the club charging $28 for someone to ride in the seat of a golf cart that is privately owned by and maintained by a member?
Which is current practice.
Get all the first punches, huh? I know this is a hot topic around the club. And, you know, but I don't have all the information. I don't know all the details associated with it. I don't know that anyone in this, well, maybe there are a handful of people in this room that do know all the details of this actually. But you know, that would be where I would start, is trying to understand all the implications, the revenue implications of the decision. And, you know, more than likely, if you know, putting myself in the seat to not have just a throwaway answer, is that I would likely have put it to a membership vote. And brought it to the group, as opposed to making a decision at the board level. Because of the financial implications for the people affected.
I think that it's a good thing that people can come to board meetings to participate and hear what's going on. And I always strongly encourage that if there's something that is on their mind, that they should participate by coming. And I don't know how I would vote next year. I know how I voted this year.
From my perspective, I think that if you have your own private cart and you have a guest that's riding along with you, I don't feel as though that person should be charged for that, because I think that if a person's already paying the trail fee for their cart and they have someone that's coming to ride in their cart with them, that they should not, their guest should not be charged for that.
Brian, I got a question.
Who's gonna?
Here, I got you.
Get here first. Bill Cosgrove, my wife and I, CA, we joined in, October of 18. We've been talking a lot about what we're doing for members. If anybody hasn't noticed, this is a luxury in a competitive market. And we are still not full. And what I'd like to ask the board is, or the candidates here, is forget all your political answers, let's talk about what you'd like to see that would be a positive thing for the club to add value to attract members. You've got 3 years to get it done. Come up with something. I promise I won't hold it to you in 3 years.
Thanks, Cos. I think that from the perspective of filling the membership, I think that the city of Bend has grown tremendously since I've been here. And I think it's continuing to grow, as you can see the development around us. And I think with that, there will be the need for, or there will be more people seeking memberships. And I think that of the courses, I think that the selling point on our course is the golf course. Like I said, for myself, when I came up here, when you compare this course to all the other courses in the area, for the price and the quality of membership here, there's no better place than this. And I think that the course sells itself as long as the people come.
Over here so I can actually see the question. So, I think that, I think there's validity to the fact that there are people that will always be attracted to our golf course. To make it more attractive, or, fill membership if that's the goal. I want to define the objective around that and before trying to solution for it. Do we want a completely full course all the time, or do we want to have a little bit of wiggle room? Do we want to, invest in serving the members that we have, or do we want to attract new membership? So I would need to understand that the club strategy around that a little bit more. But one way that I think is, kind of low hanging fruit for attracting new membership is offering things that, through member guest and other activities that already exist that end up being perks for those same guests to come back and participate in a longer term.
Well, I think with the area that's down here on this end of town, that more and more is building up and growing, so I'm hoping that, people enjoy walking golf courses, and this would be one of the places they would choose to be, because I don't feel that we have very many walkable courses in Central Oregon anymore. A lot of them are carts. And, it just seems as though, the ease of getting around this golf course and coming out here and playing snow golf and all the other things that we offer in the crazy times of year when we have, people still in town. I just, there's a lot, when I moved here, this was the only 18-hole golf course in Bend. I mean, there wasn't, other than Orion Greens, which was 9 holes, and then you could go to Black Butte or you could go to Sun River. So I think we have the best course in town. I don't know why anyone would want to be anywhere else.
Mitchell Biss, my wife and I have been members since 2017. I'm going to piggyback off of Riney and Cos down there. We got it, we need something. Top 3 things, if the club is gonna spend $1 to $2 million, go.
In my experience, 1 to 2 million doesn't go as far as you think it will. I think there are, I'm sure we have a wish list already, right, at the board level. And I think it would require some creativity and prioritization and, you know, some people who can really execute in order to make a meaningful impact with that kind of funding. And I think there, you know, I'm also a big proponent of saving for a rainy day and weathering the downturn. And so I, you know, without knowing what the strategic priorities are right now, sorry to be a cop out right now, but I feel like it's difficult to spend phantom money on something that I don't know what the strategic priorities are.
I think it's an unfair question to ask. You know, we're here, sitting here for meet the candidates tonight. And you bring up a question for something that I would, if I was sitting through several board meetings, I'd probably be in a better position to answer your question. I think as I sit here today, I don't know. I can't answer that question, so sorry.
Car pass.
In Switzerland? I'm gonna ask a follow-on question to that. I mean, you guys are all active golfers, or your husbands are, and you've traveled, and you know, if there's something that you could bring from another club that you visited to our club, you know, what might that be? So Jeff, you're first on this one.
I would bring white sand to the bunkers.
The ocean. Oh. But you know, one thing that I actually really enjoy about other courses, when riding, and mostly I walk here, but is the fact that they have, distances on monitors in the carts. I really enjoy that, especially at a new club. But sometimes it's helpful when you're walking as well, or when you're at a club that you're familiar with.
I would like electric carts so I could still walk. You know, I mean, I could buy one right now, but I don't want to.
Right, I got one.
Yep.
Rob Moore, I've been a member since I think 08 or 09, minus a year of Achilles injury. And I came back after quitting. So as you know, we have a number of committees at the club. I think I'm gonna try to list a membership, golf committee, LGA, MGA, social committee, finance committee, and the golf committee. I think I've, what I missed?
Membership.
I thought I was the first one I said, okay, maybe not. So, athletic, all right, enough. We got it, I think they get the point. So, I know you all love golf, so, take a look at your skill set and tell me, as you join the board and become a liaison to one of these various committees, what would be your preference and why do you feel you would be beneficial in that role as a liaison to that committee?
Don't answer, because you're gonna end up there.
Well, let's see. I've been liaison to 3 committees already, and, I always enjoy the LGA just because, it's things that, that I know there's always questions, and I have this bad habit of going, well, we've done this and you could try that, because that would be fun. And so, and let's see, the other committee I have not had a chance to be on is the golf committee, and I would thoroughly enjoy that, so. Did I answer your question? Okay.
Yeah.
I think of the committees that you've listed that exist, I would say probably the golf committee or the athletic committee would be best suited for me.
And why?
Because I'm an avid golfer, I think I have pretty good ideas of things that would work with this golf course, of things that may need to be changed. In terms of the athletic facility, because I do work out, although I do most of my working out at home, I think I could lend some knowledge as to what we would need to improve the athletic facilities that we have here.
I'm currently on the golf committee and am enjoying that, so that's on my list. But also LGA would be a obvious choice for me. And you know, aside from getting designated as that because I'm volunteering for it, I'm honestly open to any of the committees. I think that you know, my personality is one that likes to listen and ask questions and learn. And then represent those ideas. And so I think that I would be suited for any of them.
Ask second questions if you'd like to.
I'm not sure how I pose this as a question other than a reaction. Can I have the problem is, I'm the one that Cause was talking about, joining a new club coming from another state to Bend. And we did not join because of the golf course. We joined because there was a golf course. And the few people that I was exposed to there, but my wife wasn't a golfer yet. And there were tennis facilities, there was a swimming pool. Those were the things that allowed us as a family to join the club. Since then, obviously, the wheels have spun and over the years and things have changed. But so to Cause's point, when I'm looking at this club, it is one of the few that genuinely has the diversity to attract a multi-interested family that has not only gym, but, you know, our pickleball facilities are used like crazy. And Patty was mentioning the tennis players. And so I'm a little concerned, truthfully, that there's so much focus only on the golfing. And, you know, there are enough people know that I golf here 6 days a week, so that's not a question. The thing is that the sensitivity to those that only do that, as well as the need for that to attract people who at the start are not world-class golfers or only golfers. So I'd like a little reaction or reflection of our experiences. And by the way, I know 10 other who joined about the same time for exactly the same reasons. So I don't know how to, it's not a question.
I was
it's a
gonna-
statement.
No, you're good. I think they can comment to that.
Yeah, no, I'll just react to it. I think that there's you know, you make some, you know, really good observations about what we've been focusing on here. And I think that's because we all appreciate that that is kind of the anchor of the course, or of the club. And it isn't the only thing, and it isn't the only attraction. And so I was the person in your seat, you know, several years ago, 9 years ago now. And I really appreciated that there were other elements to this club than just golf, right? Like I'd ride along, you know, if he was riding and, you know, I'd walk along if he was walking, sometimes. But I appreciated that there was a swimming pool and there were tennis courts, and at the time there were outdoor tennis courts, and, you know, the course has evolved, you know, the club has evolved over time. So I think I think we're already doing a pretty decent job of attracting people because of all of those elements. Maybe there's room for improvement for, you know, structuring the way that we attract, new membership, with all of those, different components.
First gone.
When we joined here, the weight rooms were all, racquetball courts. And Craig and Ron asked us to play racquetball at least once or twice a week. So we have, gone from doing that to working out in the rooms to also playing tennis, and I've tried pickleball a few times. My knees don't like it, so. And then when we've gone through situations of rehabbing, making sure we are able to use the pool and the hot tub, because that's helped with knee replacements and all those kinds of things. So I think that, it's important to have all of those things for this club. And I always want to make sure they don't go away. And I know there's things that they're talked about doing with making all of it better. And that's part of the DECA stuff that's coming. And so hopefully there'll be ways that we can continue to improve it and attract more people.
I think that the facilities that we have in terms of the tennis and pickleball, I can't speak to that because I don't play pickleball or tennis anymore, especially now that I've had both my knees replaced, and that's not anything that's high on my priority list, but I do understand that there are a lot of people that participate in that, and I think that the facilities, you know, everything that's been here probably needs somewhat of improvements or maintenance done to them. And I think that that's something that we, as a board, would and should address. And I think that as long as it's within the financial constraints of what we have to work with, that's something that will definitely be taken care of.
Yes. Oops, we'll get you next, promise.
I just want to say that I've been in your shoes, and I just want to thank you for putting yourself out there and volunteering to do this, because we are about volunteers. Thank you.
So Beth Whitney again, and I'm on the membership committee. And I've been working with Nancy and a great group of people, and I just want to acknowledge, piggybacking on what Kaz and Eric were talking about and building our membership, we have to acknowledge the growth that we've had with Bevan and Josh. What a crew. Since I've joined here, we have, yes, in the fall, how many new members have you signed up just this month? In the fall?
I have new golf members this week.
5 new golf members in September. This is awesome. Also, if you look at the calendar of events from 5 or 6 years ago to what's on the calendar that you see every Friday now, the family events, all the social events that are for everyone here. It's huge. The calendar takes forever to go through. And all the family things, that's how we build our membership, is bringing in the young people, having something for everyone. And Josh and Bevan deserve a great deal of thanks.
Any questions? I'll ask a question. Just because being on the board, this is probably, sometimes you feel like Norm at Cheers. Everybody comes straight to you and tells you your problems, and there's no drinks involved, so. And this is gonna be a hard one to answer, but like, just what are your thoughts, high level, there's no, you know, on our dress code policies?
I am not super familiar with our dress code policies other than color and, kept in and, golf attire. So, I mean, that, golf attire to me is appropriate at a golf course. And if that's what our policy is, then I think that's appropriate.
I am, I do appreciate having tuck shirts. I also believe that if you're wearing a hat, you should wear the hat frontwards and not backwards on the golf course. And I'm not a woman, I can't really comment on what women feel is appropriate and inappropriate for them to wear. So for that reason, I think that as long as we have the dress codes, I think they just need to be adhered to.
There was a wedding that we attended back east and we were gonna play golf and, the family that had set it all up very kindly sent us what the dress code was for playing that particular golf course. Because they had for women a strict length on shorts, even, you couldn't have it only like so far above your knees. So, and I've been called out on the dress code here when I was a beginning golfer, so I have always felt that understanding and knowing what you can and can't do is important, and I'm kind of a rules follower, which is a little bit of a problem once in a while, but anyway, so I think it's important that everybody understands that it's there for a reason, and I feel it's important that they know what it is.
Just to comment on that, I would just like to acknowledge that Monty has been doing an amazing job over the last month or so of going out and very kindly telling people to please tuck in their shirts and things like that. And it didn't go on that way for a long time. It didn't need to go on unattended as long as it did, because we can see the difference already. The dress code is being adhered to very, very much more than it has in the past. And I really appreciate the effort that has been made to get that in line. So, thank you.
Do we have any other questions left?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
All right, so, we're gonna wrap this up, but again, there's over 50 people here. And, the comment came that, this is about volunteering. Just like now, it's about us voting for candidates. And, sharing what you think or what you know with your friends. And, the more people that vote, the more people that get engaged, the better we are as a club. And if you have issues, we have procedures, we have ways to bring issues to the forefront. And it's really up to every one of us to make this club as good as it possibly can be. It's not your friend, it's not your neighbor, it's not somebody on the board, it's all of us. And so I'm really grateful that, we had a turnout of 50-some people tonight. And, I'm grateful for your guys's, volunteering, and the questions were really good today. We appreciate them. I don't know what the exact procedure is when the voting starts and all that, but it'll be in your, it'll be in all the communications that we do get. You have one last question to take us home?
Tell us one of your jokes.
No, I would like to remain a member.